before then, the combine kicks off.
Oh gosh.
Week, February 26th. And
here we go.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love the combine, right?
I bet you
love
do.
everything about it. What does that mean? What does that mean? You bet I do.
I don't put a lot of weight into this anymore. I don't put a lot of weight into this.
It's not about how much weight I put into it. It's about just watching these kids go out there and perform. And when they perform really well, they realize right then and there they're getting drafted, right? And they've made it come true for themselves. They're going in to the biggest, most lucrative job interview that there could be. And I love
the
watching
worst.
the combine. Oh my
It's
God.
the worst format for a job interview is what I'm saying. I want guys to get drafted. The tough part is these guys get paid off of where they get drafted. And 9 times, I'm not going to say 9 times out of 10, but I would like to see those numbers. Maybe I'll dive into it because I am a numbers guy, but you're overpay most of the time for the draft in the higher rounds. Like, you're not going to get what you pay for. And I don't think that the combine is going to show anything for some of these drills. I would like to see more skills driven things. So I like those. Like, I like to see the deep ball, the placement. That's fun. But this is no different than a pro day. If a guy opts to do his own pro day, I treat that the same way as the combine. So I don't put too much weight into this. It is fun to watch, sure, but it can only hurt you. The combine does not make you better. That's what I'm getting at. The combine does not increase your draft stock, in my opinion.
So what would you rather they do? Maybe go out and play a seven
I mean, let's be real. The combine didn't do anything for Herbert. The Senior Bowl did, right? He's a good example. Recently, Justin Herbert was the number 5, I think, quarterback on the list until that Senior Bowl he did. I think it was Under Armour Senior Bowl. Dude, he lit it up. I think he had like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Like, and that's when people are like, oh, then they go back and look and see, and all they look at is like, oh yeah, he didn't mess up at the combine, but we clearly see that Tyler Show threw a ground ball,
he did.
A
he
dribbler.
Looked terrible at the combine.
He looked terrible all combine, and he still ended up getting drafted higher than the guys that didn't go. So yeah.
Okay, so you're not a fan of the combine. I enjoy the combine because maybe first and foremost, football is back, right? Like, we're going to go for a couple of weeks now. All of a sudden, we went through 2 weekends without football. Now all of a sudden, here's football. Football is here. It's not football.
Combines for that guy who went to Memphis Tech University and declared for the draft. The guys that we don't know, and we're like, yo, did you see Joe Milton? Oh yeah, the Tennessee guy. No, he was a Florida guy or whatever the case, wherever he was. And then you can kind of follow these guys and see. But man, for Mendoza, do you really want to see Mendoza at the combine?
Well, Mendoza's not doing anything at the combine. And let's be fair. Most of the time when you are the consensus number 1 pick, you've just won a national title. You just went undefeated. You just won the Heisman. What is the purpose? Now, will he talk to people in the rooms and do the things and shake the hands and kiss the babies? Absolutely, he'll do that. But he's not gonna work out. There's no reason for him to work out, right? He's number 1 pick. The number 1 guy never works out. 5th round picks typically have to work out. And see
what I'm saying? I got guys on the crash team that if I told them real quick, hey, I got an Arena Pro tryout for you, they're gonna look at me and laugh. Why? Because I'm not trying out. I'm here for a spot. So some of these guys, I feel like I know you don't like to hear this. I know you don't like to hear this. They earned a spot already in the NFL off of college. Oh, they shouldn't have to go out here and line up in chones and run and do exactly what you say. And I call it posturing and posture up. I hate this part.
Okay.
Because it's not real. It's not real.
As a football coach or even a pretend football coach, if that's, we play, get together football on Saturday nights. My point is, it's awesome to go there, meet these kids, see them perform under the pressure that is there. And for me, from a quarterback perspective, I couldn't imagine. I would love to sit there all day and just bring them in, put them on the whiteboard, talk to them, get to know who they are intellectually, right? How quick can they, are they just doing this and throwing to, receiver A, or are we able to break stuff down? Hey, I got your favorite play here. Tell me what it was. Here it was. Okay, now we did it. Tell me what your reads were. Why did you make these decisions? John Gruden style. That's what I want to see at the combine, because that's all I really care about when we talk about the combine. The 40 is cool. whatever. I'm just jealous because I was never that fast. So, who cares?
I think in most
Even though
cases, I think
offensive
you're
linemen now are faster than I was. It's ridiculous.
I think you make a good case for certain drills for certain players are way more interesting. Obviously, we want to see the books and the brains of a quarterback opposed
Yes.
to how far he can throw the ball.
Yes.
But we do want to see the lineman reps and the bench opposed to how fast the lineman can run a 40.
I also like the
Like
receiver gauntlet drills. Those are awesome, right?
sure,
Where
you
they're
want to
running
see
back
if
and
they can
forth,
catch. And
and
I'm
then they're
with it. The
dropping. I love
pressure.
that.
I like the tradition that is the combine. I just hate that
Fair enough.
some people put a lot of stock and weight into this when they're drafting. I think this should support whatever narrative or draft pick that you have, not write it. You know what I
So let
mean?
me
And the
ask you some
biggest
questions.
example is Zach Wilson. One of the better combines ever was Zach Wilson.
He was great.
Across the board for quarterbacks, he threw well, he ran well,
And he went
everything
to the
looked
Jets.
crisp. He had the brains, but he can't catch up to the game and speed that NFL football is. Like he's backup. Second overall? Was he second overall pick?
I don't remember.
So
I know he went
yeah,
to
he's top three.
the Jets.
But
Um,
yeah,
so are you a fan or not a fan of quarterbacks throwing at the combine, especially if you're a question mark? If you have a question
if
mark
you
by
are
your name,
if you are not a solid top 5 quarterback, whether it's first, second, or third round, if you're not like the 5th quarterback taken, and you feel that you going out there and throwing the ball with no pass rush, not even sometimes a complete drop, a 5-second pat the ball a couple times, let it rip, get some perfect throws to show off your mechanics, then great. I thought Cam Ward throwing at the combine was a necessity last year. Why? Because all his film was scramble plays, throw off this, throw off balance, make all the good plays. But no, can you get in there and play the traditional style of football? You know what I mean? So I think yes, if you have a question mark, yes, I think you should throw at the combine.
so
And just
here's
for
who's
where this is leading, I just want to drop it in there.
yeah.
Shador wasn't a question mark. I didn't think he needed to throw at the
Well, he
combine.
obviously was a question mark because he dropped all the way to the 5th round. And you know why? Because he didn't work out. Because he didn't interview
Him
well. He
throwing would
didn't
have
do some
showed
things.
no different. We know what he could do throwing.
Yeah, he might have
That's what
become
I'm
a 7th
saying. He
round
was
pick
one
if
of
he
those
threw.
guys that
I don't know.
nah, it's crazy.
He
Then if
might have
that's
he
the
might
case,
have
he gonna
become
be.
undraftable if he didn't throw. If
He's
he
in
threw.
line. We do realize he's in line to start next year, right? We realize that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk
Oh,
about
we
that
are
in a
lovely,
few minutes.
lovely.
But here's the quarterbacks that are throwing this weekend: Joey Aguilar out of Tennessee, Drew
Mm.
Aller out of Penn State, which I think could tell us a lot about Drew
I want
Aller
to see
because
that.
he
Okay.
was kind of a running court. And by the way, sometimes I see these guys that had these great college careers, and you see them throw at the combine, and you're like, how did you ever win a single game? Right? Those mechanics are absolutely terrible. RG3 comes to mind when he first threw. I
Dak
was
Prescott.
Dak Prescott, absolutely terrible. Carson Beck is going to throw. Luke Altmaier from Illinois is going to throw. Jalen Daniels out of Kansas will throw. Joe, I can't say his last name, but he's from Yukon. Fagnano, he's going to throw. Taylor Green out of Arkansas will throw. Haynes King, Georgia Tech will throw. Again, these are quarterbacks that are not household names that weren't on the
Yeah.
big stages for the most part outside of Carson Beck and Drew Aller. Then you've got Cade Klubnik, of course, of Clemson. To me, major question mark. Fernando Mendoza will be there. He's not going to throw, is what I've heard. I know he's going to go to the Raiders. I know what happened in Indiana. I'm not sold that he's the number one guy. I'm not sold that he walks on water. I'm not sold that he's the next one. I'm not, but we'll talk about that later.
He's
For
their
Herm,
next one.
well,
I mean,
obviously he's their next one. Bivren Morton. I hope I said that right. Texas Tech. Garrett Nussmeyer. Right. I get to call games for his little brother on Friday nights at Marcus. Coming out of LSU, he's going to throw his senior year kind of up and down a little bit. I'm hoping for him to get drafted and have a great career. Diego Pavea from Vanderbilt.
yeah.
What did they come out and said? He's kind of a little shorty. He's a little short king, right? I'm short king. That's why I can say that. Cole Payton out of North Dakota State. Now I love to see this guy coming in the combine. We got Sawyer Robinson from Baylor, and to round it out, the surprise of the year last year, Ty Simpson out of Alabama is coming to the combine. There's talks that there are more than one team looking at Ty Simpson. So Good for him.
Man, I see a lot. I see or I hear, and putting some of those faces to the names that I know of, lots of third at best round picks, man. You're looking at fourth, fifth, sixth guys. I don't see outside the top maybe 4 or
Yeah,
5 guys going in the top 3 rounds, man.
it's a weak class. It really is
There's
a weak
nothing that
class.
some of these guys could what can you do? That brings you back to my full circle here, Tim. What can these guys do at the combine that's going to make them shoot up a whole round? Run a 4.4 as a
I'll tell
quarterback?
you what.
No.
I'll tell you what they can do. So this is going to lead into my next question. Glad you asked. Quarterbacks throwing, quarterbacks in the classroom, quarterbacks running 40s. For you, what's your most important drill at the combine to see from a quarterback? For me, it's the classroom. It's the classroom. Hopefully, I know that if you're at the NFL combine, you can throw a football. Hopefully, I know that you have some sort of accuracy about you. And it's very difficult, by the way. You talked about pro day, and Brandon and I argue about this all the time. I think the pro day is the biggest scam in football because, as a quarterback, because you put
It's a
together,
showcase.
I get it, but you put up your 30 best throws that you can make. You put those on a sheet of paper. You practice them at nauseum with your guys. And then you go out there and you run the place. I sure hope you look like a damn superstar. I sure
Well, I'm
hope
just
so.
saying, you just described a full week of NFL. It's your guys. It's the same script. You're working on it. That's more transferable and relatable to an NFL week than having to sit there in front of
Understood.
John Gruden, scared as hell, as he tells you what the hell are they doing? What are you gonna do? Yes, no, hut, go. What? I would probably freak out and be like, yo, I don't
what's
play.
important to you then? Pro day, throwing at the combine, or getting in the classroom at the combine?
Man, it depends where you're at. If you have the question mark on your like you said, Penn State, yeah, I want to see him throw the ball.
Yeah,
I know the guy. I want to see him throw the ball. But
He's
like Nussmeier, yeah, I want to see your books. I know you can sling it. I know you can move. I know you can play. You played it a bit. I've seen enough of that. I want to see what your scores are. You see what I'm saying? So it's up and down, you know. And some of the guys, I think all of them coming out of college now. You might be right. You might be onto something. I don't say that often, Tim. You might be right. The QB test might universally be the most important thing because these guys aren't coming out of college NFL ready no more.
They're not.
Right?
They're not.
They're running college schemes. They're running college things. They're doing this.
How cool would it be? Remember when John Gruden had his John Gruden class or whatever it was, and he bring a Gruden grinder and go through all that. I would love if we would get a camera in the room when these quarterbacks went into interview, and instead of watching them run 40s and throw the ball, let's watch them interview. Let's see who they really are. Let's look at that, because for me,
you won't get a realness.
Well, let's see if you're smart. I don't care about who you are as a person at that point. I want to know, do you have it up here? So for me, you could come out and you could throw rocket balls. You could throw a Joe Milton 80-yard throw on the money, but come in the classroom and can't tell me the difference between a cover 2, a cover 4, a cover 3, or a man 2. And at that point, I no longer want you on my football team. Like, it's not even worth it.
Isn't it crazy though? Because you can teach those things. But you can teach what's up here.
I'm at the highest level. I don't have time to teach you that. We got to go.
Why not? Why not? Draft them, sit them, and then you get your Jordan Loves, you get your Aaron Rodgers. These are guys that have sat. They've learned. See, so it's the old school way of doing things, but you're onto something, because the Raiders, you ain't got time to sit them. So you need a certain type of QB to come in there. So
that's why I still think the Raiders should sign Derek Carr and maybe draft this Mendoza kid and let him sit for a year or two. But we don't do things like that in the NFL anymore. But the Raiders aren't ready to win
experiment. They did the Carr experiment. Carr's just not that good to plug in somewhere and say he's the guy. He's a guy, sure. But I would say, put it this way, Carr ain't much a step up from Geno Smith, in my opinion.
Oh.
Sure, you have last season to go off of, but show me Derek. I don't know. Show me Derek Carr's last season with Vegas, right? So, yeah, I mean, I just don't see it. You rock with what you got, you know.
Okay.